gaming and streaming on a single PC on a budget? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, guys, to the Budget Streamer series. Today we're going to go over a single PC streaming and gaming machine on a budget, of course. So before I get started, let me just mention that there's a link down below to what I've created is the minimum requirements for a budget PC. It's on kit.co. You can go check it out. All the links link out to Amazon. And if you purchase anything, it does help out the channel, and I really appreciate that. So again, for this series, we're recommending a single PC setup, and we're not going to talk about peripherals like mice, keyboards, cameras, anything like that. In the kit.co that I've linked down below, I do have a full build out of the minimum recommendation, but we're not going to talk about 100% of that in here. We're only going to talk about the main internals, which is going to be the motherboard, the CPU, RAM, graphics cards, and solid state drive, as the other things are superficial and they do not improve the performance of the machine. So let's start at the core of the machine with the CPU. I'm going to recommend, at least for the bare minimum, a Ryzen 5 2600 or higher CPU. Why AMD? AMD provides more bang for your buck. The equivalent Intel with Intel i5 6-core is going to run you about $100 to $150 more than the AMD 2600, and for me it's just not worth the performance boost. Like, the performance boost between them are very, very minimal at best. So the price difference just doesn't make sense to me. So the Ryzen 5 is going to be a 6-core processor, 12 threads, and you're going to be able to get a lot done. It's really great for multitasking. I actually use it on my main computer because my main computer is pretty much a budget build. I'm able to do video editing. I'm able to do streaming. I'm able to do gaming. I'm able to do gaming and streaming at the same time. I only stream at 30 frames at 720p, but my games are getting anywhere from 60 to about 120 frames per second. But I'm using a little bit upgraded stuff compared to the list that we're going over today. But I'm just letting you know that this is the basis on how I know that this works. For a motherboard, I'm going to recommend a Micro ATX. They're the smallest they're really small motherboards. Basically, they only have 2 RAM slots and a couple PCI slots, which for this build, you're only going to need those because you're going to get a 16 gig kit of RAM, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And you put in your graphics card and your CPU, and that's really the core of the machine. So the model that you're going to look for is a B450M. Which is what fits the AM4 socket for the Ryzen 5 2600, and it also fits the AM4 socket for the Ryzen 3 series. So it is kind of backwards compatible. For the graphics card, again, gonna recommend AMD just because NVIDIA graphics cards are really expensive right now. A 1660 is gonna run you about $350 to $400, somewhere in that range. A AMD RX 580 is going to run you about $250. So the performance difference is a little bit greater than that, than the CPU from AMD to Intel, but this is going to get you to be able to play your games and stream at least 30 frames a second on both ways. So streaming at 30 frames a second and gaming at 30 frames a second. And if somebody tells you that you can't game at 30 frames per second, I did it for a year and it worked out marvelously. All right. If there's anywhere that you're going to try to push more money, I would highly recommend pushing more money towards the graphics card, because that's really going to be the biggest thing. The way I have my setup is I use a lot of my graphics card for my streaming as well. So both my stream and my game are using the graphics card and trying to utilize as little as possible on my CPU. For a solid state drive, I'm going to recommend a 500 gig NVMe solid state drive. They're high performance. You're going to have greater data transfer rates because of the NVMe PCI slot. And it's going to take up less room in your case, so you can actually buy a smaller case and it'll be a little bit cheaper if that's what you're worried about. but I'm recommending at least a 500 gig because you're going to be housing your operating system and all your software and all your games on it. Anything less than 500, you're going to run out of room really, really fast. If you can spare the little bit extra to go to a terabyte, I'd recommend doing it. But if not, 500 would be the bare minimum that you want to do. Also, it would be wise to get a secondary hard drive, a standard mechanical platter hard drive, to be able to save all of your data to, such as documents. If you're taking clips from your stream, saving the clips over there. If you're doing any kind of video editing, saving all that content on the platter drive, because you don't want to fill up your solid state drive, because that's really where the performance comes from when you're playing your games. It helps boost the performance. And then the RAM, I'm gonna recommend like a Corsair Ballistics 16 gig kit. When I found them, it was like $80 for 16 gigs, which is compared to like a year and a half ago when RAM was blowing up, that's really cheap. So all in all, you should spend maybe a grand total of $500, maybe $600 on this machine. And like I said, this doesn't include the peripherals, such as, like I said, the mic, the keyboard, mouse, camera, anything like that. But this is going to be the bare minimum that I recommend. Again, I have a link to a kit down below if you want to see what I'm talking about. So thanks for checking out the video, guys. If you found this information helpful, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment down in the description below. If you haven't already, please hit that follow button and tick that notification button so you know when I put out a new video. Can't get that out. And I stream pretty much every single day on Twitch now. I usually do like a just chatting during the day, so feel free to drop by, ask me questions. I love chatting with people, and I love being able to answer questions. So if you can follow me on twitch.tv/Dagan07, tick the notification button on there so you know when I go live. Also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Dagan07. And I'll post my Instagram, and I have a new Discord. You can also join the Discord. I have a link to the Discord down in the bottom where you can come and grow as a community. It's easy to ask me questions. I'm pretty much on it every single day, so it's good back and forth and if you need something answered pretty quick. So again, thanks for checking out the video, and we'll see you in the next one.